1920. A group of Zionist women in England unite to improve the status of women within the Zionist movement. They visit the land of Israel and decide to form an organization to improve the lot of women and children in the pre-state settlement. Wizo, an international Zionist movement of women. Wizo groups spring up all around the world. In a short time, thousands of Jewish women unite all over the world to support Wizo's activities in the land of Israel. In 1927, the first branch of Wizo in the land of Israel is formed. Then Wizo, as a trailblazer, develops its essential welfare and education services that will constitute the infrastructure for the foundation of Israeli society. Daycare centers for babies and toddlers, the first family health centers, schools and youth villages. As a women's movement, Wizo also focuses on establishing political public activity to improve the status of women and ensure their rights in Jewish communities in Israel and around the world. Wizo plays an active role in the Zionist institutions. Representing all women at the signing of the Declaration of Independence, Rachel Cohen-Kagan, chairman of Wizo Israel, is chosen to sign the declaration alongside Golda Meir. Rachel Kagan forms the first women's political party, is elected to the Knesset, and leads legislation which protects and advances women's rights in several areas. To this day, the law for equal rights for women, which Kagan formulates, constitutes the basis for women's rights legislation in Israel. At the same time, Wizo develops the first professional training for the advancement of the women in the community. During that period, Wizo plays a crucial role in the community and in fulfilling the Zionist vision for the land of Israel. Throughout the first 20 years of existence, the State of Israel faces complicated social and security challenges. For example, acts of terror, the Sinai War, the Six-Day War. And the main social challenge is the absorption of hundreds of thousands of immigrants who have come to Israel within a few short years, which will require innovative solutions in a variety of fields. Wizo, which operated in the social arena and assisted in immigrant absorption even before the state was established, is recruited to carry out these missions of national significance. In 1951, the first Wizo convention held in Israel after the establishment of the State of Israel is attended by Prime Minister David Ben-Gurion. The roles that Wizo assumes during that time reflect its centrality in the life of the newborn nation. Wizo members undertake immigrant absorption as their central mission. They teach Hebrew in transit camps, provide professional training, and develop home industries. They continue to be pioneers in developing services for children and youth. They establish daycare centers and youth clubs. Wizo acts with all its might to advance the status of women and establishes dozens of legal bureaus throughout the country. In order to fulfill Wizo's goals, it develops a worldwide volunteer model which engages thousands of women from around the world and establishes dozens of Wizo branches in Israel in order to carry out the different activities for the benefit of society. Central events which left their mark on Israeli society during those 20 years. The social protest of Sephardi Jews, the political upset, the Yom Kippur War, Ethiopian immigration, the awakening of public awareness of the status of women in Israel, inflation striking the economy, accompanied by changes in welfare policy, additional security events such as the First Lebanon War in 1982 and the First Intifada. Those social and economic changes require Wizo to adapt its services to match society's changing needs. Wizo rises to the challenge, becomes the Israeli government's most significant operational branch, and intensifies its activity, especially among the weakest sectors. Wizo takes proactive steps to reduce the socio-economic gap and works in development towns, mobilizes to aid IDF soldiers and wounded war veterans, establishes therapeutic centers for at-risk children, foster homes, warm homes for young girls, a retirement home in Tel Aviv, and continues to reach out to immigrants. Wizo establishes the first shelter for battered women in Israel and leaves its mark on the struggle against violence towards women, and does not cease developing its volunteer framework. During those years, many security-related, social and economic events took place in the country. The Gulf War, suicide bombings, and waves of terror attacks, large-scale immigration from the Soviet Union, the assassination of Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin, the Intifada, the Second Lebanon War, and other military operations, increased levels of poverty alongside social justice protests and growing violence. Wizo, as always, adopts new venues of activities and remains as relevant as ever. Wizo houses children from areas hit heavily by rockets in its institutions, continues to provide a warm home and support to at-risk populations and weaker sectors, establishes many more daycare facilities for children, and develops innovative programs in youth villages. Wizo doesn't give up on the struggle against domestic violence. During those years, it opens 3 family treatment centers and, for the first time, offers help to violent men. Wizo continues to lead female discourse in Israeli society and, in theory and practice, influences government policy towards women. Wizo achieves all these and much more thanks to thousands of members and volunteers from all over the world, driven by a sense of duty and dedication to create a better reality for tens of thousands of women, children, and youth. We at Wizo intend to keep advancing the status of women in Israel through legislation, development of leadership, and personal and social awareness towards gender equality in Israeli society. We will continue to create a better society for babies, children, youth, and the elderly by providing equal opportunities, reducing gaps that span Israeli society, connecting and engaging Jewish women in Israel and around the world in order to ensure the continuity of the Jewish people and the strengthening of Israeli society. Women taking the lead. This is Wizo.